Imagine waking up one morning to discover the world around you is unraveling. Not just strange behavior, but people abandoning reason, discarding logic and clinging to illusions. And you begin to wonder, are you the one who's insane? Or the only one still sane? This is the unsettling reality of mass psychosis, when societies slip into collective hypnosis, embracing fear, illusions, and blind obedience. Today we explore why it happens, how to spot it, and most importantly, how to free your mind from its grip. Stay with me because the final insight could permanently change how you see reality, and even yourself. Before we continue, subscribe, like, and share if you believe the world needs more light in a time of collective darkness. Now let's begin. Human beings are not always rational. Despite having access to science, philosophy, and history, we behave like herds, often chasing imaginary threats. Throughout history, civilizations collapsed not because of invaders, but because of delusions they created themselves. In the 1600s, René Descartes warned that our senses could deceive us. But what he didn't imagine was that entire societies could deceive themselves. Today, psychologists call this mass formation psychosis, when large groups lose touch with reality, absorbed by false narratives, hysteria, or ideology. Carl Jung warned that when people lose meaning, they become vulnerable to mass suggestion. Disconnected from their own identity, they seek it in the herd, where fear, propaganda, and belonging dominate truth. Think about recent years. Endless slogans, blind supportive movements, rage against dissenters. Is this progress or collapse? Gustave Le Bon, in his book The Crowd, explained that individuals in groups lose responsibility and critical thought. They regress into emotionally driven children, easily manipulated, quick to anger, eager to conform. This is the true danger. When people stop thinking for themselves, their reality is outsourced to authorities, media, and trends. How many opinions you hear daily are truly original, and how many are echoes of the herd? Fear fuels mass psychosis. Leaders, knowingly or not, have used it to manipulate societies through crusades, regimes, panics, and health scares. And here's the chilling twist. Those caught in mass delusion never think they're the crazy ones. They believe you are. Suddenly, questioning becomes dangerous, silence feels safer than truth, and intelligence becomes isolation. So what can be done? Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Mass psychosis thrives on passivity, silence, and blind conformity. It grows when people stop asking why. Why are rational conversations so rare today? Why is dissent labeled as hate? Why do truth-tellers face more resistance than liars? Maybe ignorance isn't the issue, maybe it's a deliberate escape from reality. This escape is seductive, promising safety, belonging, and identity, but at a devastating cost. Let's go deeper. Think of a time when you disagreed with the majority, not from stubbornness but because something inside whispered, this doesn't feel right. Perhaps you stayed silent, or perhaps you spoke up and paid the price. That moment revealed the hidden mechanism. Conformity, silence is truth. Our brains evolved for belonging. Exile once meant death, so we still fear rejection. In the 1950s, Solomon Asch showed how people would deny obvious truths just to conform with a group. This is how collective madness begins. Not with dictators, but with ordinary people too afraid to stand alone. Now magnify that across millions, amplified by social media and manipulated news. But it doesn't stop at conformity. When people abandon their own thinking, they often become aggressive. Nietzsche warned, madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, and nations, it is the rule. Societies that suppress truth don't become peaceful, they become hostile to truth-tellers. This is why calmly presenting logic often provokes rage, mockery, or censorship, not because it's false, but because it threatens the illusion. The irony? Many of the deluded are highly educated, but information without awareness is directionless. We are surrounded not just by ignorance, but by educated confusion. Modern life deepens this, so what's the antidote? Reclaiming your mind. Build an inner firewall. Ask uncomfortable questions. Why do I believe what I believe? Who benefits from it? When was the last time I changed my mind from evidence, not pressure? Carl Jung warned against following the crowd while thinking you're independent. The crowd is the shadow, and it is growing darker. But you are not powerless. Awakening means noticing manipulation in headlines, double standards, and silences around inconvenient truths. It means feeling the loneliness of clarity in a blind world. From Socrates to Orwell, truth seekers have always walked alone, and yet, they are never truly alone. Because in every age, others are quietly questioning, waiting for the moment to resist and rebuild. That moment is now, because silence only strengthens the spell. So how does mass psychosis unfold? It begins with disorientation. Life feels chaotic. People feel helpless. Then comes simplification. Media or leaders provide a simple narrative, a villain, and a solution. Exhausted people surrender to it. Next comes conformity. Silence spreads, giving the illusion that everyone agrees. This pluralistic ignorance keeps dissent hidden. Then comes aggression. The crowd enforces the illusion, punishing those who resist. But illusions eventually collapse under contradictions. And this begins the fifth stage: awakening. Awakening is painful. It means realizing much of what you trusted was false. It means facing manipulation and deception. But in that pain, clarity is born. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi camps, said survival came not from strength but from meaning. Anchoring your mind in purpose protects you from mass delusion. But this requires courage. Seeing clearly in a blind world can cost you friends, status, and comfort. But ask yourself, would you rather be comforted by lies or awakened by truth? Escaping mass psychosis requires inner sovereignty. First, practice silence, not fearful silence, but watchful observation. Where did your thoughts come from? Do they serve truth or comfort? Second, master your emotions. The more reactive you are, the easier you are to control. Third, reconnect with meaning through philosophy, spirituality, art, or nature. Fourth, build a community of thinkers, not echo chambers. Awakened minds connected in truth can change history. Finally, transcend the need for the crowd itself. That is the final escape. True freedom comes when your sense of self no longer depends on approval. When you no longer fear rejection, manipulation loses its grip. Awakening is not about rebellion, it is about remembering who you are. Every awakened individual becomes living proof that another way is possible. And this is what mass psychosis fears most. A single awakened person rooted in truth is more powerful than 10,000 confused minds. If you've listened this far, you are not like the rest. You are part of a quiet revolution, one built not on rage but on clarity. Not on conformity but on consciousness. So ask yourself, will you live by noise, fear, and obedience, or by truth, courage, and sovereignty? The choice is yours.